Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Welcome to Bears Talk Bats, where I am drinking a fine glass of bat orange juice this morning.
And I've got a fine mug of bat coffee.
See, you're drinking caffeine while I'm getting my vitamin C up. Which one of us is most likely going to be Batman in the future? Not me, because vitamin C is good for sunlight, and bat people probably don't have good vitamin C. I'm mixing up my vitamins. Who knows? Let's move on.
I mean, it's vitamin D that you get from sunlight.
Oh,
so
yeah.
It's probably that Bruce has to have hefty vitamin D.
D tablets.
Yeah.
But yes, so
he probably has to eat a lot of broccoli, and things like that. Maybe that's why he had a bowl of berries.
Okay,
to start.
I think you're going to be more positive on this film than I am. So I want to get it on record before we begin. I'd prefer this Batman film to any other Nolan trilogy.
Yeah.
I just want that on record before I maybe start getting overly negative about it.
I mean, we know what your favourite Batman is. For anyone who might not have heard this before, what is your favourite Batman?
What, of all time?
I mean, all right, go on. Live action. I mean, obviously, the best one is Mask of the Phantasm.
Yes.
But live action.
My favourite live action Batman is Batman Forever.
Yes. And why would that be, James? I know we've discussed it before, but just a quick rundown. Why is Batman Forever the best Batman film?
Because it's just the best Batman film, and anyone who disagrees is just clearly crazy.
I mean, could we have a little more elaboration? I know I said a quick rundown.
The elaboration, to quote David Lynch, the elaboration is in the film. Watch the film, and then come out of it and be like, oh yeah, of course, this is the best Batman film. Why would anyone have another opinion after seeing that film? It has Jim Carrey as the Riddler being all like, hey, I'm the Riddler. It has Tommy Lee Jones as the as Two-Face being all, aha, I'm Two-Face.
Yeah, I'm not Lando Calrissian.
It has Val Kilmer adopting a 20-odd-year-old man.
Yep.
I do love that. I do love that about Batman Forever. That they've cast a very adult Robin with Chris O'Dowd, and yet
Chris O'Dowd or Chris O'Donnell.
Chris O'Dowd would be a very different kind of want to see that now.
I now want to see in the Batman 2, Chris O'Dowd being Robin.
That would be that certainly would be something.
Yeah,
but yeah, Chris O'Donnell as he was clearly an adult, and but loses parents, and Batman adopts him, like actually adopts him in film, and it's like, okay, adopting adults is an interesting.
I mean, it does happen. It does happen within the world of business as well.
Yeah, it does.
Specifically within like Japanese business, where it's still traditional.
I saw actually someone point out the other day that modern Batman films are so terrified of Robin. It would be like if someone made a Sherlock film and tried to convince us that his greatest companion was Inspector Lestrade, not Watson.
Yeah,
and we just had this series of Sherlock films where it's just Sherlock and Lestrade solving crime, and there's no Watson in sight anywhere. And it's right. That is exactly what the modern state of Batman is.
Yeah. Although I do get the feeling we might see a Robin in this
so do I.
Universe.
Yeah. Full spoilers for the Batman going forwards.
It has been out for a while.
It's on HBO Max now in America.
Yeah. The reason we've done this so late is because I literally only saw it on Friday. We're recording this on Tuesday morning of the 19th of April. I only saw this on Friday in a relatively small screen at just one of the local multiplexes.
I saw it in my local cinema, which doesn't have any real big screens.
I think
interestingly,
the screen I saw it in was slightly larger than the largest screen at your local.
Yeah,
but yeah, sorry, go on.
You know the local cinema.
Yeah.
You know how they upgraded 2 other screens to like leather seats, but they left the rest of them. Well, those seats are starting to get even ricketier now, and they've had to lower the price for films in those 3 screens.
Bloody hell.
So I think people have been like, why are we paying just as much to see a film in this screen as we are in the good screen?
Yeah.
Like,
Although,
you
there's
have
a
seats
certain,
missing.
yeah, there's a certain charm to an older screen. Like, I can't remember what chain
Oh,
of.
in one of them, there's a particular falling apart seat I like that's got so comfy
Yeah.
because it has this weird left lean, and if you lean into the lean,
Mm.
it's really comfy.
Yeah, I can't remember what chain it was, but I saw Inglorious Bastards in a what would have been a very early multiplex.
Yeah,
And so there wasn't significant tiering. It didn't have cup holders. Like the seats just hadn't been upgraded. Like they were still in very good condition, but
yeah,
like somehow they were in the original format that they would have been in like 1985 or something like that. And so you even saw like I'm relatively short, and there was a tall-ish person in front of me. So like the tops of their head were encroaching on the screen, and it felt perfect for
yeah.
that film, to be perfectly honest. But anyway, on to the Batman.
Yes, so this is a film about the Batman, little known character you might not have heard of,
Yep.
and he gets up to batty things.
Yeah. Which mainly means hanging around at night,
Yeah.
because bats don't like daylight.
So I saw a hot take earlier about a massive plot hole in this film.
Here we go.
Spoilers, it's not a plot hole. Like how
No.
why does Gordon trust Batman? Like, why are they working together at the start when we haven't seen that established? It's like, but what?
Yeah.
Like, just do what any sensible, right-thinking person would do, and just assume that they've been working together for a year or so.
Yeah, I mean,
Hell, I actually even think they say they've been working together for about 2 years at this point.
Well, I mean, there's
Gordon
very
has that
much
line like, "I don't even know your name," and we've been.
Yeah, there's very much a couple of turn to camera things and go like, I mean, including Batman's voiceover. Like,
Well, even
it goes,
that,
this is 2 years in.
even that aside, like they're clearly just good friends,
Yes.
right? Like it doesn't need to be established.
I mean, I think the thing is that, like, for those of you who haven't been living under a rock, Batman as a character is probably as well established as almost any other character that's ever existed. Like, I think we pretty much know who Batman is.
Sorry, I'm just adjusting
and
camera.
the relationship. That's all right. And the relationship that he and Gordon have. And even if certain elements of the relationship aren't necessarily canon in this take, like say the Nolan take, the fact that it was Gordon that was there the day that Bruce's parents got killed. You've got that in your mind.
You just assume,
it's already there.
You know who Jim Gordon is. You know who Batman is, and
you know that Batman knows that Jim Gordon's a good guy.
Like it,
like,
I blame cinema sins.
Yeah,
I blame this kind of poking plot holes aren't plot holes into films method of like it's ruined people's film literacy.
Yeah. Why hasn't this thing been explicitly forced down my throat so that I know exactly what's going on? Like, how am I supposed to understand while I'm looking at my phone and not paying attention?
So, first up, the Batman is still a superhero film. It's still prone to the issues we have with them dominating cinema. However, it is a film that has an identity and doesn't feel cookie clutter. There's so many like points where the story here could have treaded in. Like, it started to do things I generally hate in Batman stories when they try to do them, and each time it was about to do one of them, it pulled it back and did something different with it that I liked. It's very good. The main one is I hate. I'm a big Batman fan. I love Batman. And I hate when stories in comics and in other medium go down the route of like, the Waynes were really bad guys. I just don't like it. I think much like if you decided the Kents were bad guys. I think the Waynes need to be decent people.
Yeah, I mean, they can be flawed.
And I know that we have to approach the fact that they're very rich these days, and that is our relationship to the rich now is different to what I guess we thought about millionaires and billionaires in the 30s and 40s. But I thought this was going to do it. I thought, oh, Thomas Wayne's going to be a villain. But they didn't go there. Like, they just show that he made a mistake. But he was still a decent person who was trying to do the right thing. He just made a mistake. And I thought, oh, actually, I like that.
Yeah, it's not. It is a very... Because, there's nothing wrong with being a flawed character. There's nothing wrong with, like, Thomas Wayne having
making a mistake.
Like,
he was trying to protect his family, and he put his confidence in the wrong person.
Yeah.
But he himself was still a good person.
Yeah. Who was under a lot of stress. And
he had the right intentions for all this money.
Yeah.
He was trying to help the city. He wasn't embezzling. He wasn't, like, in bed with a mob. He just put his faith in the wrong person.
Yeah. And, I mean, even then, there was a nice enough little backstory as to why he even knew Falcone in the first place.
Yeah.
And the fact that, he, as a doctor, saved Falcone's life partly because he was forced to, because obviously he was, like... kind of brought to him.
And he's a doctor, and doctors save people by their...
which is a nice little interaction between Bruce and Falcone at the funeral scene. One of the few daylights scenes as well.
And Robert Pattinson as Bruce/Batman. So good. Like, Robert Pattinson is just so good in this.
He's outstanding. We've known for a long time he's a great actor.
He may be my favourite live-action Batman after all of this. Because that's a fundamental thing. All the trailers going into this, I thought, okay, it's probably going to be a good film, but it's not going to be my Batman. It's not going to be a Batman I overly enjoy. It's going to be grim and gritty and that. But I was wrong. It is my style of Batman. And that's what this film is ultimately about. Batman learning to not be that.
Can I just pause for just a second?
Yeah, of course.
James? I've got a phone call coming in. Oh, it's all right. I've missed it.
Okay. Matt was going. Matt may not be going.
Sorry, if they call again, I'm going to have to answer it because I think it might be my estate agent.
Okay. I think if call again, what I'll do is rather than that time, we'll pause it and I'll put a cut in.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. It is a Batman I recognise, and that's what the arc of this film is, right? Batman learning not to be like rather than going any kind of, I think we're going to be just jumping all over in our discussion of this film. But the end of this film, after like they've caught Riddler, they've arrested him, but a bunch of Riddler's like followers, fanatics, show up and attack the mayoral election. Batman shows up to stop him and like beats him down and like what is it? One of them says like. It's all about vengeance, isn't it?
He quotes Batman.
Yeah.
But all the way through, Batman, instead of saying "I'm Batman," which obviously is the go-to cliche, it's a bit like with the James Bond, the Daniel Craig thing. Like the in Casino Royale, he never says Bond, James Bond until the very end of the film.
Yeah.
Because it's him becoming Bond.
Yeah.
And this very much Batman becoming Batman. Because he never refers to himself as Batman. Everyone calls him the Batman. Because he's still at that weird mystery point and what have you. So it's all very much about Bruce finding his identity both as Bruce and as Batman. And so he refers to himself as Vengeance for the entire film. And it's only at the end when one of Riddler's guys goes, "I'm vengeance."
Yeah, it's that dawning.
It finally clicks. Oh shit!
Yeah,
Like,
and then you have that wonderful moment, and obviously, film starts with admittedly the very corrupt and bad mayor being killed,
yes,
and obviously his son is left, and you get these moments throughout the film of Bruce and the son, kind of Bruce recognizing himself
yeah,
in the son, and at the end when he lights a flare and you get that absolutely stunning shot of him wading through the flooded like ruins, and the old mayor's family, the mayor and other people are trapped,
yeah,
and he reaches his hand in, and everyone's terrified of him, because why wouldn't you be terrified of the Batman?
yeah,
But the kid reaches for him first, and that's symbolic of it's the kid who trusts him. Like, that he's not scared of this man in the batsuit.
yeah,
And then it cuts to obviously him carrying injured people to air ambulances on the roof, and how one of them doesn't want to let go of his hand, and it's like that realizes that, oh no, Batman needs to be hope for Gotham, because that's it. I've said it many a time. Batman is as much a symbol of hope as Superman is. It's just Batman is a symbol of hope for a city that has none, while Superman is a symbol of hope for a city,
it's or even a world.
a world, yeah,
In the case of
that
Superman,
does have it.
That is clinging on to it. I think
Superman
that's
is
the thing.
a symbol of hope to aspire to be.
Yeah,
Batman is hope in a place that's hopeless.
he is literally that hand that's reaching down to pull you out of it.
Yeah.
And obviously with Bruce having so much money, and I think that's where at least a good chunk of the focus of the second film will be Bruce offering a hand
Yes.
and revamping the fund.
Like the whole
And
Kravitz is great as Selina as well.
she's
And
magnificent.
their chemistry, and they feel
Yeah.
like Catwoman and Batman.
They do, yeah.
And
Just going to have a little more back coffee.
superhero films always, unfortunately, tread this weird line with romances. And they kind of want their heroes to have that happy ending at the end. And I like that this film recognises that there is no happy ending for Bruce. Like, he learns he has to be better here. But the city is who he's married to. Gotham is...
Yeah.
He can't leave Gotham. So, as much as he may want to take her up on her offer... And
But I think the more important thing is that he finds a friend.
Yes.
Because even like through most of this film,
But
he doesn't even think that Alfred is a friend.
No,
Like,
and
he's such a broken individual.
This film could have had more
like-
Alfred, but I'm glad you got that little reconciliation scene in the hospital.
I think it could have had more Alfred, but at the same time, I don't think it needed
I
it.
do think he considers Gordon a friend. The way they work
Yes.
together, and I love just seeing them work together and question people together. And I love that cop who doesn't trust him, but at the end, like when they're in the Riddler's house together,
With the conclusion, like to what the hell's going on, and
but how
like what the tool is, and like
how he started to begrudgingly accept this Batman character, and
yeah,
I love the interrogation scene where Gordon gets him to leave him alone with him, and obviously he has to punch Gordon to get out of there. Them meeting on the rooftop, them interrogating Penguin together, and again, Penguin, Colin Farrell, so good. And Gordon's why is his name escaping me? Jeffrey Wright, isn't it?
Jeffrey Wright,
Yeah. Jeffrey Wright's Gordon is one of my favourite Gordons, I think.
I mean, he's a magnificent. I mean, obviously, we just talked about Bond as well. Like, he's.
Oh yeah, his Felix
the best-
later is.
I mean, he's the best Felix. Not that that's difficult, because there's not many that like. Well, there's never been as big a focus on Felix as there was in the
Yes.
Like, I mean, I've long said
The
and I
Felix
know
arc throughout those films is fantastic.
yeah, and I would love, like before they properly reboot Bond, I want
All
a
the
Jeffrey Wright Felix
all the Bond films
film.
are on Prime now, by the way.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
And in typical Amazon Prime fashion, they've not been curated in any form whatsoever. So if you look at the list, it's like someone has taken
To be
a
fair,
bag full of Bond
I
and dropped them.
kind of like Amazon's because no streaming service curates properly. They all have terrible UIs. Amazon just makes no attempt to pretend it doesn't. And I appreciate that about it. I appreciate that in a world of god awful UIs, Amazon's just like,
We're gonna go out of our way and be the worst. Like,
I don't even think they're going out of their way to be the worst. I think they're just making no effort. And there's part of me who's like, you know what?
I admire that.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Like,
I applaud your laziness.
because honestly, at least you know what you are. You know you're terrible, and you're not pretending you're not. Like,
I'm gonna make the people find it, and then when you have found it, we'll reveal that you either have to have another subscription to something else, or
and now you've got the ad-free stuff that comes with IMDb, which is just automatically included with Prime.
Just because they own it.
Yeah, but like the IMDb channel is now a thing on Prime. It's like, which has some gems on it and some utter dross, and that is also the thing with Prime. It doesn't hide the terrible stuff. So like weird, and I've said before, weird dinosaur erotica rises to the surface quite easily.
I haven't seen any dinosaur erotica.
There's weird, like low quality sci-fi dino erotica.
I mean, that possibly is a hint more to what James has been watching.
No, it's if you look through sci-fi and stuff, it just inevitably shows up.
Yeah, I can probably.
But yeah,
that.
the Prime UI is something.
Yes.
I'd say the best UI maybe Apple TV, and only the fact that it tries to curate all of them and doesn't do a terrible job of it.
I mean, Disney's not too bad, but then I suppose it's got some nice little pigeonholes that it can just
Disney
put stuff in.
Pretty decent, to be fair.
Yeah. Especially, like, obviously, we're talking about UK Disney, where you've got all of the fun adult stuff as well. So, like,
Netflix is terrible.
Netflix is terrible, but it's
only because Netflix just makes finding things that it doesn't want you to find hard. Like Netflix, like, no, you will watch what I want you to watch. I've just recently one last point on this before we move on. Just recently subscribed to Crunchyroll on the trial, which is an anime service.
Yes.
And man, the organisation on that. So, do you want subs or dubs? Both are potentially available. Maybe. Have fun finding them. They might be in the same place. They might not. Or, my favourite, it'll tell you it's got dubs.
Yeah.
And you go on it, and there is no dub there. And that's because, say, Germany does have a dub for it. They have done a German dub, but not an English language dub. But the German dub is region locked to Germany. But because it has a dub somewhere in the world, the dub tag appears on the show.
Yeah.
Even if you have no access to said dub. It's just like finding...
I mean, not that it matters hugely, because obviously even if you could access it, you don't speak German.
No,
so...
I'd still watch the Japanese with subs, but it's just this wonderful level of... Because for years, Funimation did dubs, Crunchyroll did subs, and that's how you those two services were different. Sony owned Funimation, they bought Crunchyroll, and now they've combined the two. So part of that library is coming over, but there's just there's no rhyme or reason to how they are organising things. It's wonderfully chaotic.
There you go. Speaking of chaos, the Riddler.
Yes.
Paul Dano.
The one thing in this film I'm not super keen on.
Go on. Why?
What's wrong with a question mark leotard? This is where my fears of what the film was going to be are most are true.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, it's that, like, oh, we better make Batman's villains realistic, and so we'll make him a bin bag wearing incel. And it's like, yeah, sure, I guess. What's wrong with a Riddler that, is fun? And again, I know this isn't necessarily the film for that, and he's the right Riddler for the film. I'm not gonna deny, but here is where I'm like, yeah, I guess. Like,
I mean, I could, at the same point, assuming he returns,
I think it's the right take.
I could also see Paul Dano's character becoming the leotard wearing.
I'm really not convinced I ever want to see that Joker that's in that cell either. Like,
yeah, I don't.
And again, great actor picked to play him.
Like, I'd be perfect, like, because of the deleted scene in this. Like, he seems to be very much the Hannibal Lecter of like.
Oh, I did not like that deleted scene. I'm glad that scene was deleted.
Like, I wouldn't have an issue if that's how he's treated. If he's already been caught, and at most,
he's the Joker. He's gonna break out,
and he's a resource.
He's the Joker. The Joker breaks out. It's one of the it's one of the eternal truths of the universe. Arkham Asylum just has a revolving door.
Yeah, true. I'll give a very brief.
Paul Dano's bit in the interrogation room when he starts singing Ava Maria and all that, and his realization, like, Bruce's fear that he knows who he is, and then his realization that, oh no, he's just he doesn't know who I am. He's just this, and Riddler's realization that Batman isn't on his side. It's a wonderful scene.
It was two excellently contrasted performances as well, really, because like Dano is so wonderfully over the top, like he's right on the edge.
Yeah,
it's actually in some ways quite a camp, like cartoonish villain, though grounded just enough.
Yeah, he's great in the part. He's a great villain. Yeah. It's just, and I think a different look would make me slightly less cynical about it.
I get you.
My issue is probably more with costuming than anything here.
I think it also works for I think the costume, though, works for the final sequence where there's the Riddler clones.
Oh, yeah, it does. It does.
And so...
You buy it all from a surplus store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I'm fine with it.
I think it's fine. I think it works for the film. It's just, this is a personal thing on my part rather than a statement of the film. I don't even necessarily think the film would have worked better with a question mark leotard wearing. It's just
no, but I think it could get there. I think that's the thing that for all of its flaws, the Riddler in Gotham, the TV series, is superb.
I mean, I know the Riddler is a villain again in the comics these days, but my favourite Riddler era is when Riddler actually figured out who Bruce was and turned good and became like a private eye. He was still the Riddler. He was still like... But he tried to like play for the White Hats for a while, effectively.
I mean, there's no saying that won't happen with this one.
Oh no, I think this guy's too like... The reason you could do that with Riddler in the comics was Riddler was always a character you never pushed as far as you pushed the Joker, right? You never push the Riddler. The comics never push the Riddler down the, oh no, he's an irredeemable maniac like the Joker is. So the Riddler was easy enough to kind of, and some of the Batman villains have become. Catwoman is fundamentally a hero now, even in the public consciousness. I don't think we'll ever see villainous Catwoman again. Yeah. Harley Quinn is...
It's easy enough with Catwoman to keep her as a crook,
yes,
but not a villain.
Yeah. Poison Ivy is fundamentally an anti-hero, at least now, more than a villain.
Yeah, because if anything...
At least in the comics, and I think we haven't seen any recent takes of Poison Ivy in mainstream media, but it'd be interesting to see where they potentially take her. But certainly in the comics, she's not a straight-up villain anymore. And then Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
who again is fundamentally a hero these days. She's still very much Harley Quinn,
Yeah.
but Harley Quinn away from a Joker is a... And Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy as the duo are the key. I guess
Yeah.
I say we haven't seen Poison Ivy in mainstream media lately. The Harley Quinn show.
Gotham.
Yeah, pardon? No one's
Oh,
seen
Harley-
Gotham. No, you're the only person who's seen Gotham.
Gotham. You said Poison Ivy, yeah. Yeah, in the Harley Quinn show, yeah. Because there were 3 Ivies in that, because she kept, like, mutating. But
Well,
I
I
mean,
guess
see,
you are the 5 other people who've watched it probably enjoyed it.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not good. Like, there's like, but there's some very interesting ideas.
Yeah.
And it's this weird mesh of like, actually,
I think it potentially
A lot
suffers
of-
from the same thing Smallville suffers from, right? Like, you can only keep him pre... If you run for too long, you can only kind of keep it pre this for so long.
oh yeah, I mean, there's
And introducing everyone...
far too many Batman villains.
And introducing them all pre him becoming Batman becomes like, oh, so when he became Batman, he already had a rogues gallery.
Yeah, like, I think
Like, Smallville worked better when it was a teen drama about Smallville than when it moved in. It kind of maybe become a more exciting show in its latter years,
Yeah.
but it stops functioning as Smallville at that point. Like, when he starts becoming the Blur and stuff like that, it's just
Yeah.
like, just end it.
give up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Either make it a Superman show.
Especially as in the last 2 seasons, he lived in Metropolis as well.
Yeah, like, this
like-
either at this point it needs to be a Superman show, or it needs to stop.
I mean, that's it. I mean, like, it didn't feel like it was going to stop. So it very much was like, just call it Metropolis and be the sequel seasons.
When you have him fighting Doomsday, before he's ever put on a cape,
Yeah.
something has gone wrong.
But yeah, Gotham, I think, for me, and this was where actually seeing Penguin and Riddler in this was going to be, because Penguin and Riddler in Gotham, for the aesthetic and style and humour of the show, are as good as you're ever going to get.
Yeah.
Like, they are almost perfect versions of their respective characters. And so, obviously, then moving away to these versions of the characters, yes, they were always going to be very, very, very different versions.
I don't know. I think Colin Farrell is pitch perfect Penguin.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. That's sort of where I was like ambling
Like-
and stumbling towards. Like, I think that like these Colin Farrell in particular is pitch perfect Penguin,
Yeah, Riddler-
especially for this version of Batman.
Even not for this, like, Riddler is a different take on the Riddler. Penguin is just straight up the comic book Penguin, really.
Yeah.
At least certainly modern comic book Penguin.
Yeah, I think it's a shame that you probably won't be able to suffer through Gotham.
Maybe one
Because-
day I'll watch it, who knows.
But it's worth it for Penguin.
I mean, it has a cast I like. Like, I like the guy who plays... I was an OC fan. I like the guy who plays Gordon.
Gordon.
It's got Monica...
He's a
Monica
good
Bernini plays
Gordon.
Tompkins, right?
Yeah. I mean, the standouts, the absolute standouts, are Penguin, Riddler, then what do you call it? What's it called? Selina,
Yeah.
because it is a young Selina. She's the same age as Bruce. She's magnificent, absolutely magnificent. None of the cast is bad. I think that's the thing, that like absolutely no one is bad. But as a show,
Are we saying Gotham is your Batman Forever?
no, because I think Batman Forever works, whereas this is a broken clock. This is like buying a Rolex that's been
I'm more
dropped.
meant, is it the thing that you tell people they should watch, but everyone's like, no, it's bad?
No, I don't think anyone should watch it. I think that's the thing. Like, I wouldn't like, I'm not going to go and be a evangelical or try and convert anyone, or like, I'm not gonna be knocking on people's doors and saying, "Have you read the good book of Gotham?" But
I mean, I
like,
do that for Batman Forever,
have you
admittedly.
heard the good news? But if you are really stuck for something to watch, give it a try, because there are elements of it that are absolutely magnificent.
However,
anyway, back to the Batman.
I think on this note, I am going to actually ask you a question,
Go on.
as
Yeah.
we're gonna wrap this up.
Mm.
The
'Cause I
Batman
haven't
Matt.
actually- I haven't actually properly given my opinion yet.
Yes, the Batman Matt.
Go on.
Should people watch it, and why?
Yes, 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 yes. Yes, they should. This, with everything we've discussed, I think it is the best balanced Batman Bruce that any actor's managed. I think,
Admittedly, there isn't
oddly-
much Bruce, but that's kind of the point.
No, but I think what he does do
I would say
with
Bruce is still dead at this point.
Yeah, I know, but I think, but again, it's
Oh,
him
yeah.
learning,
It is.
learning to be Bruce, and it's him learning to be Batman. And I think actually what there is of both, it's probably the best
Just
balance.
speaking on his performance as well, I've seen a lot of people like do CGI or paint in the white eyes, saying, "Look how cool, much better the Batman suit is with white eyes." It's like, no, because then you denied Patterson's brilliant eye acting. Like, all of Patterson's emotion is through those eyes in this film.
Yeah,
Like, if he had
Like,
white
only
lenses there,
that interrogation scene that we were talking about, that like the fear that
Yeah.
Batman shows there,
I mean-
while hiding it to the Riddler, but showing it to the audience.
There's a
Like,
reason-
that is some really, really good acting.
yeah, and there's a reason the Spider-Man mask in the Spider-Man films has CGI eyes that change shape.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, exactly.
because you need to see. There's a reason Judge
Emotion.
Dredd takes his helmet off in the Sylvester
In the
Stallone
movies,
one,
yeah.
and I know he
Yeah.
doesn't do it in the Carl Urban one, and that's the point of.
Contention.
Well, no, it's the point of pride because he doesn't take the mask off, and it's a great film, Dredd, but that's because that film isn't really relying on any emotional acting from Carl Urban.
No,
Like,
which yeah, like the only time he's ever really shown emotion is in Star Trek. Like,
I do like Carl Urban though.
I like Carl Urban.
Oh no,
but
he was
like,
good in his sci-fi cop drama thing that didn't last,
Yeah.
where he was the partner with a robot. But yeah, we're digressing again. Batman eye acting good. Carry on.
Yeah, the acting is superb. For a near 3-hour film, I mean.
Oh yeah, I didn't
really-
feel it.
Like, realistically, it's about 2 hours and 45 if you don't sit through the credits. It does not feel 2 hours and 45.
No,
And nor does anything feel wasted.
no.
Like, I don't think there is a tighter cut of this.
Yeah, that was the weirdest thing for me. I had the unending feeling that it could have been longer.
Yeah.
It does kind of, in a world where a lot of TV feels like a film that should be shorter. Like,
Yeah.
this feels like maybe it would have actually been better served as a small TV miniseries than a.
Maybe. Like,
Because if it was, I'd probably be saying the same. It's a TV series that feels like it should be shorter, and I think this is that shorter. This is actually what a lot of modern TV miniseries should be.
Yeah.
And the reason I think a lot of modern TV miniseries aren't this is because there is no longer any money in making tightly paced and moving Batman completely out of the equation slightly. No, this is a conversation for another day. Carry on.
I mean, I know obviously the Snyder Cut was an extra hour on top of this. But 2 hours into the Snyder Cut felt longer than 2 hours and 45 of this.
Yeah.
And I think actually
This
that's
uses
where,
its runtime, and it uses it well.
I think that's actually where that initial idea when the Snyder Cut was going to come out, of it being a mini series, actually, a 4
Yeah.
1 hour. Like, I don't think that would have been a bad idea. Like, I still not necessarily would have enjoyed it that much, but like, I think it actually wouldn't have been the worst idea to have found some natural cut
Yeah.
points. Whereas this is a long film that doesn't feel like you can make any chops to it. Like, I
No.
don't think there should be a TV edit to get it down. I don't, and likewise, I don't think you could actually make any logical cuts
I don't either.
to turn it into
It's
a
very well
miniseries.
paced.
Like,
Matt Reeves did a great job.
oh, I mean, I love Matt Reeves anyway. Like his, like what he managed to do with the second and third Apes films.
Yeah.
Like, because to make Planet of the Apes that well, I mean, obviously, you had a good jumping off point. I can't remember the name of the director of the first one, but he did an incredible job with the first film. But the second and third films are something truly spectacular. So when he was announced to be directing a Batman film, from the get-go, I was looking forward to it. I knew I was always going to enjoy it. I didn't know how much, but I knew I was always going to enjoy it. It was going to be a Batman film for me. And yes, I've only seen it once, but the wait to see it and the hype and how... And the thing is, even you, and I know how skeptical about Batman films you are,
Yeah.
when you came back from seeing it on opening weekend or whatever it was, and you messaged me and said, I liked it.
Yeah.
Because if you'd said it's a good film, that would have been a different answer to I liked it.
Yeah. I never had any doubt it was going to be a good film.
Yeah. But the fact that you said I liked it, like, that for me is the most hype that I'm going to get for this film. And made me really, really want to watch it. So,
Yeah.
if anything, I was going to be disappointed. Like, because there was no way going into this film, I thought that I would come out thinking it was as good as it was.
Yeah.
I was sure that there was going to be a small hint of disappointment, like that I was going to love it, but it wasn't going to quite reach it. Like, but it was quite the opposite. This was one of, obviously, my overall review will probably change once I've seen it again and again and again. I've managed to like find little bits and bobs, but as initial reaction, this is one of the best superhero films ever made. I'd put it up there with Superman 78.
Big talk for you.
Yeah, I mean, like, obviously it's very different, but on quality, from a first viewing, it's up there with that.
Thing is, I could, as weird as it sounds, I could see Patterson's Batman across from Reeves' Superman.
Reeve or Routh, yeah. Like, I think, yeah, it's, and then there is, obviously, Matt Reeves is a great director. He has a go-to cinematography, which he used in this.
Yeah.
Those two as a tag team created some of the finest visuals that you will see in cinema in this film. I thought
I won't go that far. There's stuff I really like the look of. I've seen... I think if we're really going for finest visuals, there's probably stuff, many things I'd rank above this. But I
think for the aesthetic choice that they made, they nailed it. And I think that's what I mean. I'm not necessarily saying that like it's the most gloriously beautiful thing. Like, but I mean, the thing is that like shooting dark is very different.
Oh yeah.
The number of directors and cinematographers who just get it wrong. And in this film, it's very dark a lot of the time, but the lighting is exquisite. It's inch perfect. I mean, the thing is, you see everything that Matt Reeves wants you to see, and I think that's the most important thing here. Like, the things you don't see, he doesn't want you to see. And he might tease you with something so that you're trying to figure things out and trying to see things that, like, oh, does he want me to see that? Does he not want me to see that? Is that part of the riddle? Is that part of the, it's like being Batman and trying to find your way through the darkness. But like,
I'm gonna ask now. Let's wrap this up. So yeah, we both liked it.
Yeah,
we both would recommend seeing it.
Yeah, definitely. Find it the highest quality that you possibly can. So when it comes to home release, whether it's HBO, Blu-ray, whatever you can get the best quality version that you can get your hands on, do that.
I'll be getting on 4K disc of that HDR goodness.
Same here, because I think that's where potentially actually the darkness will let the film down a little bit, because if you watch it relatively highly compressed like a DVD, God forbid anyone that buys a DVD in 2022, but if you were to watch a DVD or even a Sky stream of it or something like that, this could look a bit rubbish.
I don't know. If depending on what level of Sky stream you're paying for, but
I mean, if you've got like Rishi Sunak money and you're paying for absolute like high grade Sky, then yeah. But if you aren't richer than the Queen, then and you've just got basic Sky, then
720p goodness,
720p ultra compressed,
And on that note,
yes,
we shall see you next time.
See you next time.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Diddle-diddle-diddle.